Welcome to episode 6 of Unmarked Talk Wrestling. Got a couple of things we're going to be taking a look at today. I'm going to go over a couple of storylines that are ongoing in WWE and TNA, focusing more on the WWE ones as we lead up to WrestleMania. But before I get started on the show, there's a couple things I wanted to say right off the bat. I wanted to thank those of you who have been sending me messages and questions. It seems like I'm starting to get a little bit more of a response, and I'm getting a few people here and there who are kind of out of line with what they're saying, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. I don't mind what you have to say about the show. If you want to leave comments on the videos, that's fine, but try and leave a comment with some substance to it. Don't just leave me a comment that says, you know, Cena rocks, you're retarded. That doesn't really explain to me why you think Cena rocks. You think he rocks that much and I'm wrong by not really liking him. Feel free to explain yourself. I have no problems with any comments as long as they're in line, but I'm not going to deal with people who leave me stupid comments. On top of that, the whole reason I created the show is I used to watch a show on YouTube called Talk Wrestling with Jeff Meacham, and it was one of my favorite shows to watch on YouTube. He knows a lot about the wrestling business. He has great insights, and I loved watching it. But a couple of weeks ago, around the time I started my show, he was going to retire. He was going to give up his show. Things in real life kind of pulling to you, and you can't blame him with this economy. You got to do what's best for you. And I was pretty upset with him leaving the show because I liked it so much, which is why I created mine. I wanted to create a show where I could talk my opinions about wrestling. Now, I stumbled across his page on YouTube the other day, and it turns out he's back. He came back about a week ago. I wasn't aware of this, but since he's back and since his show is so great, I thought I'd give him a plug. And if you're interested, if you like what I'm saying, I guarantee you'll want to watch what he says. And you can find his show at the YouTube user page, NoDQCAW. You could just do a YouTube search for Talk Wrestling with Jeff Meacham. So I figured I wanted to throw that out there. Alright, so I guess it's time to get started with the show. I'm going to be starting with exactly a couple of the storylines of WWE right now. Specifically, I'm going to start with what's going on with the Jeff Hardy-Matt Hardy feud. We all know what's going on with the Matt Hardy-Jeff Hardy storyline. It began at the Royal Rumble with Matt costing Jeff the title by hitting him with a chair in his match with Edge. I think that was so far the best part of this storyline, because since then you've had them both talking about each other but really not doing anything about it, and then the build-up was to SmackDown tonight where they were going to have Matt against Jeff, and Jeff pretty much came out and said, I'm not going to fight you, you're my brother, blah, 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 and then Matt smacked him a couple times and Jeff left, and I feel like there's not enough heat built around this storyline. It's such a great storyline, it could be such a great battle, and I don't feel like it's being built up properly. I feel like they're playing the storyline a lot like the Bret Hart-Owen Hart storyline from the early 90s when Bret kept coming out and saying he wasn't going to fight Owen, and it finally built up to a WrestleMania 10 match. But the way they did that, I memean, Owen interfered with Bret's matches for quite a while until Bret really didn't have a choice but to face his brother. And in my opinion, they're not doing it right at the moment. That worked back in the 90s, and it's not going to work today. You can't have Jeff coming out, I'm not going to fight you, you're my brother, and then Matt playing the heel and giving him a smack, and I'm sorry, that's not putting enough heat on it for me. I think this needs to have a quicker build-up, a little harder build-up. Originally, in the storyline, it was going to be Christian that was sabotaging Jeff, but Vince McMahon isn't very big on Christian, so Matt Hardy replaced him, and maybe that's part of why it doesn't have as much kick as it could. But I'm hoping to see over the course of the next couple of weeks leading up to WrestleMania, Matt really starting to push Jeff's buttons, maybe interfering in some matches, costing him a title shot, something along those lines that's going to make Jeff snap and have to get involved in that match. But right now I feel like the storyline's a little lackluster, and I think that's a shame, because it's a fight that I'm sure myself and a lot of other people were really looking forward to. But if they don't start really putting some heat on this, I feel like it's not going to go as far as it could. And that would be a real shame. I really feel like there needs to be more focus put on this build-up. Now, if you've watched my show before, you probably know I'm not that big on John Cena. However, please bear in mind, I judge on what I see from week to week, and as of right now, I'm not very big on what's going on with him. However, this whole build-up between him and Edge, I find kind of interesting. I am looking forward to seeing the match at WrestleMania because I'm a fan of Edge's. I think he puts on some great matches, and when he and Cena feuded in the past, they did have some good matches. So I look forward to seeing where this is going. I did enjoy this past Monday on Raw when Vicky Guerrero came out, because now she's the general manager of both shows, and basically told Cena he wasn't going to get his title shot that night, and Cena made some funny comments. Big Show was with them, and Cena made a comment along the lines of, you have to come out here with this 300-pound beast, and you brought the Big Show as well, and it was funny to see Vicky's reaction to that. So it's building up. I'm kind of liking where it's going. Tonight on SmackDown, John Cena came out, challenged Edge again. Vicky basically said, you're not going to get your shot at him tonight either, and Cena had to fight Big Show. It was kind of a long match. After I'd say the first 10 minutes, it didn't seem like the crowd was that into it, but I don't think anybody was expecting that match to go for about 18 minutes. Edge ended up coming out, of course, and kind of distracting Cena, which cost him the match, and then Edge got in and cut a pretty good promo, leaning over Cena, telling him, basically, this is my title, you're never going to have it. But I am looking forward to seeing where this is going. I'm liking the build-up of it. I think Edge plays it really well, where he's kind of hiding behind Vicky. I think he's just one of those guys, the way he acts, he really knows how to get the heat. He's a good heel champion, and he definitely knows how to piss the fans off. He's definitely doing a good job at that. He's pissing me off, and I like the guy. But this feud's starting to take shape. I'm liking where it's going. I'm looking forward to seeing the match, and props to the guys who are writing the storyline for this, because it's going really well. Now, on the other hand, you take a look at the other title feud that's developing for WrestleMania, which is going to be Triple H against Randy Orton. I'm having trouble with this storyline as well. First of all, the whole Shane McMahon thing, I've said it time and again, made Randy Orton look weak when he was getting his ass kicked by Shane McMahon. Now, they kind of fixed that by having Orton pretty much destroy Shane McMahon 2 weeks ago on Raw, and then he dropped the RKO on Stephanie McMahon, which I thought was such a great build-up. It built so much tension. They had the whole sit-down interview with Triple H on SmackDown where he pretty much broke kayfabe and said, that's my wife, I'm a McMahon, that's, the mother of my children, and then he stormed off the set. And I thought they were really building it up well, but I have to say this past Monday, once again, I was let down by it. You got Triple H coming out. He gets all three members of Legacy to run away from him. Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes are running around backstage like two cartoon characters, trying to get away from Triple H, who's swinging a sledgehammer around. It was funny, and it wasn't supposed to be funny. You're trying to build this guy to be the main heel for WrestleMania 25, and you're making him look like a pussy when you combine the weeks of Shane McMahon kicking his ass with now a week of him running away from Triple H. I'm sorry, that's not the way it should be. I think you could do that if you didn't have Edge kind of doing the same thing on SmackDown where he's hiding behind Vicky Guerrero. I don't understand why the two heels, the main heels going into WrestleMania, are being pussies. I don't understand this. It doesn't make any sense to me. You want to have Edge do it, fine. You want to have Orton do it, fine. Don't have both of them doing it. And I really have to say I don't understand Orton doing it, because he was built up over the past 2 months since his return as being a tough badass who wasn't going to put up with anything. He kicks Vince McMahon in the head. He kicks Shane McMahon in the head. He RKOs Stephanie McMahon, and all for what? To run away from Triple H and escape in a car while Triple H is chasing him with a sledgehammer? I'm sorry. Doesn't make sense to me. I'm really hoping they fix this over the course of the next couple of weeks and put Randy back in the driver's seat, because right now he's running away like a scared little kid. The only thing I think could possibly fix this, which I don't know if this is going to happen. I don't want to go so far as to make a prediction on this, but my thought line on this is one of the McMahon family is going to turn and be on Randy Orton's side. I don't know if it's going to be Vince, Shane, or Stephanie, but one of them is going to make a heel turn to support Randy at WrestleMania. I think that would be surprising. I think it would be a good move. Personally, I'd like to see Stephanie McMahon turn and kind of join sides with Randy Orton, but I don't know if that would happen. But I think it would be great to see Triple H's wife sided with his enemy. I think that'd be cool to see. I guess we'll have to see where it goes, but right now this is a storyline I'm not all that happy with either. And believe me, it's hard for me to say that because I'm a big fan of Randy Orton.